You know, a 1-1 draw. On paper, it's just another result in a long football season. But sometimes, hidden inside the stats of a seemingly ordinary game is an incredible story. A story of pure desperation, resilience, and an absolute battle for survival.
And that's really the big question we're diving into here. Because the 1-1 final score between Levante and Girona back on March 7th, 2026 tells two completely different stories. For one team, it felt like points dropped, but for the other, well, that 1 point felt like a hard-won victory. So to really get why this single point was so incredibly precious, we have to rewind. We've got to understand the immense pressure one of these teams was under before a ball was even kicked. This was about way more than just 90 minutes of football. Okay, check this out. This is the La Liga table at the time, and you see them right there, Levante, sitting deep in the relegation zone in 19th place. Now, for anyone who doesn't follow, the bottom three teams get sent down to the second division at the end of the season. So for them, every single game, every single point is absolutely critical.
I mean, you can just feel the pressure, can't you? For the players, for the fans packed into their home stadium, this wasn't about winning a trophy or climbing the table. No, this was about pure, gut-wrenching survival. The stakes just could not have been any higher.
So, how do you even approach a match with that much riding on it? Well, what's fascinating is that the managers for both teams had a surprisingly similar idea, and it set the stage for a really interesting tactical battle on the pitch. Both of them lined up in the exact same 4-2-3-1 formation. It's basically a tactical mirror. What that tells you is that this game is probably going to be decided by individual duels all over the field, man against man. No clever surprises, just a straight-up fight to see who wants it more. But here's the thing, just because the formations were identical, that doesn't mean the game was balanced. Oh, far from it. One team grabbed complete control of the ball, forcing the other into a desperate, backs-against-the-wall defensive effort for almost the entire match. And wow, just look at these possession stats. They tell the whole story, don't they? Girona had the ball for 2/3 of the game. They were the ones dictating the pace, making Levante chase shadows and just absorb wave after wave of pressure, desperately waiting for one chance, any chance, to break out. And all that time on the ball, it translated directly into constant attacking pressure. Girona had 22 shots to Levante's 14. But look at the saves. Levante's goalkeeper had to make 4 crucial stops. You can see the story right here in the numbers. A relentless storm of attacks against a defense that was bending and bending, but somehow not breaking.
And all of that building pressure finally led to the two moments that would completely define this match. Because after 50 minutes of soaking it all up, the underdog, they got their moment. And it was pure, unfiltered magic.
Can you just imagine the sound in that stadium? 50 minutes in, completely against the run of play, Carlos Espí scores for Levante. The place must have absolutely erupted. It's the moment they were all praying for. But that incredible joy, it lasted just 9 minutes. Girona, the team that had been dominating, they struck back. Olasagasti scores. And you can just picture the stadium falling into this tense, nervous silence. And so the final whistle blows, it's 1-1, a draw. For Girona, after having all that possession and all those shots, it must have felt like a massive disappointment, 2 points lost. But for Levante, after withstanding that relentless storm, that 1 point felt like a lifeline.
Okay, so after all that drama, that roller coaster emotion, what did this single point actually mean? What was the real result of all that effort and tension?
Well, for the 18,542 fans inside the Estadi Ciutat de València, it meant everything. They didn't get to see a win, but what they saw was their team fight, tooth and nail. They saw them refuse to be beaten by a stronger opponent. They witnessed a battle for survival. You know, there's a saying that just sums this up perfectly. This wasn't a pretty game for Levante. It was a war of attrition. They had to suffer. They had to absorb pressure, and they survived. And when you're in their position, survival is a victory. And it all boils down to this one number. 1 point. It doesn't lift them out of the relegation zone just yet, but it's one crucial step closer to safety. 1 point that was earned through nothing but sheer grit. A point that could end up being the most important one they get all year long. And that, of course, is the question that just hangs in the air. We've seen how they earned it, how much it meant on the day. But the true value of this incredible hard-fought draw, well, that won't be known until the very last day of the season. Will this be the 1 point that keeps their dream alive? Only time will tell.